Welcome back. It's the end of another day. Just have some thoughts I want to get off my chest before I retire for the evening. Once again, I found myself watching through a bunch of my old videos. For the last few weeks, I have barely watched any YouTube videos at all, like almost zero. Apart from today. Today, for the first time in a few weeks, I went on my feed, had a look at, what popped up, went through my subscriptions. Yeah, listen to some podcasts, watch some videos, and yeah, interesting stuff. But for the most part at the moment, I'm really just doing some deep introspection. Like I'm just pretty much just cutting off the outside world. I mean online. Cutting out the online world, I should say. And just focusing on, myself, more specifically like what I've been doing these last few years, what I've been posting because yeah, really, the last few years have been filled with so many changes that in the moment, like I haven't even realized what was going on, and that's fairly normal. We go through busy stages in life where you're just getting through day by day, and you don't necessarily realize the changes that happen around you every single day. It's pretty much where I've been at, sorry. But now it's like things are still moving fast, but in a sense, I'm able to like look back more like with hindsight and see the road that I've traveled. It's quite interesting. It's like I've got so much more to do. Like I'm only at the beginning of this journey. I can still sense that I'm only at the beginning. I'm just getting started. But wow, I've already come a long way. It's like It's like you're driving a car, traveling very fast on the highway, right? Let's just say you pass through like many different landscapes, lots to see. You see a lot during the way, but for the most part, like you're just focused on, of course, driving the car. You're driving at fast speed, so you've got to keep your eyes on the road. And yeah, you might glance up to the side, you see this, you see that, and see the landscape change. But it's not until you pull over and you stop, you just get out of the car quickly, and you look around and you sort of see, wow, wow, look at where I am, and more specifically, oh, look at how far I've come. That's sort of where I'm at now. Like I've been driving this car so fast, and s- I've gone through so many different landscapes. I've seen so much, and yeah, I've been moving very fast. Now it feels like I'm still on that road. I'm nowhere near the final destination yet. Like I'm still only getting started, but I've just stopped, and I can look back and see, wow, wow, I've come a long way. And yeah, I've been watching videos from like 3 years ago. Really, I started my main channel. I started in early 2023. So I've just been going through my main channel video by video, and I can really see like, damn, I was so different back then. Like life was different. That was like after just after moving out here to this region. Like the move for me, it really feels like my life only began after moving to this region that I now call home, the Southern Downs region. My life didn't begin until I moved out here. Really, like my life before that, it's like, yeah, I remember, of course, but it just feels so far away. It feels so far away now, so far removed from it, even though it's not that long ago. It's not that far away and it's not that long ago, but it feels very, very far, very foreign. So, yeah, anyway, it makes sense at the moment. Like I've started a new job. I'm I've sort of got one foot in, one foot out, where it's like, I've this region's been my home for a few years, and realistically, I really don't know where I'm going to go. I really don't know where I'm going to be led from here, but it's like there's all these new doors opening, and it's really up to me just to seize the opportunities as they come my way, take the action, and do what needs to be done. Yeah. And of course, thinking about my whole journey these last few years. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the focus that these last few years I was also just placed on self-improvement, because I was like very much obsessed with self-improvement for a while. And honestly, right now in my life, it feels like self-improvement is dead. Yeah, self-improvement is dead. And when I say that, I don't mean that I'm not looking to improve my situation, improve my life. No, no, no. Like, I mean, self-improvement, like considering myself part of this modern day self-improvement movement, community, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's very much dead to me at the moment. Like, don't really consider myself. Like, I'm just like looking at my life and thinking, okay, well, what do I have to do right now? That's it. That's it. What do I have to do right now? Like, I'm looking back these past few years, the path I've traveled, and then I'm looking right now. Okay, well, what do I have to do right now? What's next? And yeah, it's like self improvement is dead. NoFap is dead. It's yeah. It feels like it's just me here at the moment. Like all the other creators that I used to follow in the NoFap self improvement space pretty much don't make videos anymore, or they've moved on to something entirely new. It's pretty much just me. I'm pretty much out of the old NoFap crew. Well, it wasn't any official group or crew or anything. It's just those of us that made these sort of videos, and that I mean other creators that I followed. It's like at the moment I am the last man standing, it looks like. And even now it's like I'm getting ready to move on for good. Like this is the last time. There is no other chance after this. This is the last time. This is the last time that I make these sorts of videos. Like I already had decided, like once I complete my mission here, like then when it comes to these sort of videos, this channel documenting, say, NoFap self-improvement, it's like I already decided that that's it. Then I'm not going to make those sort of videos anymore. Well, no, actually, after I achieve my mission here, like this channel will be utterly irrelevant, and that's it, done. I'm not going to make these sort of videos anymore, these raw check-ins. Like that's going to be it. That is going to be it. They will have served their purpose. I will leave. I'm going to go through all the videos on this channel when the time is right. And yeah, some of them that are useful, I'll make public again. But for the most part, like this is just for myself now. Like I don't even, like I made all these promises over the years, right? And I'm going to keep those promises. I'm going for a year on senior retention. I'm going to complete my mission, the mission that has been given to me. But at this stage right now, it's just like the only reason I'm continuing on with these videos and this journey is because of a promise that I made myself. And well, by saying it publicly on this channel that I made, those of you who are still watching and following this, like I made that promise to you as well. So I'm going to keep that promise. But first and foremost, really, it's just a promise I made to myself, just to stay true to my word. That's it. But really, I really don't even care about NoFap or self-improvement anymore. All I care about right now is doing what's right by me, doing what's right by God, and just living the life that I am meant to live. Like I've worked hard these last few years. I've improved up to a certain point. My situation has definitely improved. Definitely. All these opportunities are opening, but now it's like I'm entering a whole new phase. Instead of just grinding and working for the sake of working, it's like I the focus has completely changed. That's why I say self improvement is dead. NoFap is dead. Like it served its purpose. It served its purpose, and now it's morphing into something entirely different. Like my focus, like it's going back to addictions, right? Thinking about addictions, right? Because it's like addictions is fundamentally what stops so many people from achieving their true potential. And I'm not immune to it, of course. I mean, I would say compared to many people, I've been lucky. I've been lucky that I've, say, never been exposed to the disaster that is alcoholism, right? I have consumed alcohol, yes. I have seen other people consume alcohol, yes. But I've been lucky that, say, none of my immediate family are alcoholics. My parents drank. My parents drank. They do drink on occasion, but it's quite rare for me to see them consume alcohol. I have had extended family members that were alcoholics that it pretty much ruined their life. I got to witness that a few times, and really, even witnessing that a few times, that is really what steered me to the direction where I'm very much quite. I'm at the moment right now, like as of right now, like I'm staunchly against alcohol. I am, even though I've consumed it. I've never really, I've never been a fan of alcohol, and I've never consumed it all that often. Right? It wasn't until I'm 25. It wasn't until January this year that I actually like really got to see what alcohol does. Believe me, when I was in Sri Lanka, like that was, oh, that was a bit of a crazy time, honestly. Like before that, I'd never been properly drunk in my life. Well, Sri Lanka, that changed, all right? It's just because, mainly because it's like, I'm not going to go into the whole story now, but it's like, I experienced what alcohol can do, right? And let's just say, after that experience, I was even more firm in my reservations that I had for alcohol. And I was like, you know what? I had this experience. And honestly, right now, like looking back on that, do I regret that I had the experience where I drank then? No, I don't. Because it really showed me clearly what it can do. And now I'm even more staunchly opposed to alcohol than I was before. And honestly, if you were to ask me what is the worst addiction out there, what's the worst addiction? In the past, I would have struggled to answer that, or I would have said something like, pornography. And look, man, the worst addiction in my life that I've experienced has definitely been porn, right? But like I said, I've been lucky. I haven't been exposed to alcohol all that much. Never been exposed to alcohol or much. Sorry, never been exposed to any other illicit substances. Alcohol, very limited. But if you were to ask me overall, looking at society, what is the worst addiction? I would say it's alcohol. Without a doubt, I would say alcohol is the worst addiction out there. Just by looking at, you can look at statistics, but even just subjectively looking at what it's done to certain people. A few people that I know, it's ruined their lives. And just looking at society around, it's everywhere. It's so normalized, it's so widely accepted. And man, honestly, I just hate alcohol. Right now, I just hate alcohol with a passion. I really hate it. And the more and more I think about it, the more I am really getting to the point where I think I'd pretty much be in favor of alcohol prohibition. Yeah, this is quite interesting actually. I last week when I was staying up in Toowoomba, I was staying with one of my friends who lives up there. Yeah, he's at the same he goes to the same uni that I went to, and yeah, studies similar course, all that. So we have a lot in common that way. Um, but yeah, he's from Pakistan. He's Muslim, and yeah, it's interesting. We come from quite different backgrounds, but we also have quite a lot of we also have quite a lot of similarities, some shared interests, and yeah, I stayed at his place this last week, and yeah, we had an interesting discussion about many different things. Just life in general, how things are going, Australia, bit of politics actually. That was quite interesting. I talked a bit about Australian politics. He talked a bit about we just talked about international politics. He talked about it, back in his home country, and yeah, also talked a bit about religion as well. That's quite interesting because we come from quite different backgrounds. He's Muslim, and yeah, yeah, I'm Christian, and yeah, look, um, before I met him, I never really knew any Muslims personally, and it's quite interesting having some discussions on these topics because yeah, I've the natural thing is like you sort of grow up in a community, you're part of this community, you're part of this religion, and for the most part, like most people just sort of stick to their tribe, stick to their community, and don't really mix all that often. That's just how it sort of is usually. I mean, well, that has changed a lot in this modern day, especially with the internet. Like, it's much easier now for people from different parts of the world to interact and see different perspectives. It can be for good or for bad, but yeah, we had some interesting discussions, and yeah, he was asking me quite a bit about alcohol because, of course, like he's never touched alcohol in his life. Of course, he can't. Like, it's I have to say, I have to honestly say, like I'm not Muslim, but there is a lot about some of there's a lot about some of the direct teachings of Islam that I really like. I have to say, not everything, not everything. Like, we did talk about religion, and yeah, for the most part, like it was interesting. Found some quite a few. I found quite a bit in common where it's like he agreed with me, I agree with him, and yeah, we had quite an interesting discussion actually. Yeah, I'm sure if we pressed further, we would find points that we disagree on. Like, I'm not one of those people that says like, oh, there's truth in everything and all religions the same. No, I don't agree with that. There are some fundamental differences that you can't just ignore, of course, but at the same time doesn't mean that you can't talk to people with different beliefs and different perspectives and try to create some mutual understanding, try to sort of create a bit of a bridge where yeah, you can agree to disagree on certain points, but also look at the commonalities where you agree on. And I have to say, there is some of the direct teachings of Islam. I have to say, I quite like it. I quite like some of the direct teachings that they have. It's like, I think in some ways, like I'm not here advocating that that everyone should just become Muslim, or that I'm going to become Muslim. No, no, that's not going to happen. But for example, when talking about alcohol, like we're just discussing a bit about that. It's just like in Islam, like alcohol is haram, prohibited. Simple, simple. Alcohol is probably by far the worst addiction that I've seen in terms of what it does to people. I have only had like a few experiences with it. And let's just say I wasn't very impressed afterwards. And yeah, I think observing its overall impact on society and just seeing what it does to people, alcohol is by far the worst addiction, I would say. It's like, as much as my worst experience personally has been porn, no, I think alcohol is worse. Alcohol is worse. And that's saying something, that is, because look, at the stage I'm at now in life, I really don't have many vices left. I'm almost to the point where I really don't have any addictions left. Porn is out of my life. I'm on semen retention. I don't play video games anymore. I don't drink. I don't smoke. The only challenge that I still have sometimes is, social media, the internet, digital recreation, smartphone, all that. Just technology. Internet and technology. That's the only thing that I struggle with still sometimes. But I've been making some good strides with that as well. Like I said, my YouTube consumption has been cut down to a minimal level. The only videos I'm watching now really are my own videos. Like, I go back and watch my own videos, which is that's really the only exception I would give myself. Like, very soon I'm going to be starting up a dopamine fast again, properly. The only exception I'm going to allow myself is I can listen to my own videos. That's it. That's the only exception. Everything else I won't allow myself. So, yeah, that's going very well. Like, cutting down on that. No YouTube app on my phone. All the social media apps for the last week have been off my phone. I know I said in the past that, okay, I got rid of social media. Well, okay, I got rid of social media, and then I kept downloading it back, and it was like on, off, on, off. Well, now, all right, I draw a line in the sand. All right, I've deactivated my Facebook. I'm no longer on there. I'm still on Instagram just to stay in contact with certain people, but the app's off my phone. I'm leaving it off, and I'm only allowing myself to log in once a week just to check messages. That's it. That's it. But social media that I have left, cutting it down to a minimal level. No social media on the phone, that is not allowed. And yeah, the next step will be cut out music for a while. I'm not gonna, nothing wrong with listening to music, but yeah, I'm at the point where I'm ready to do another dopamine fast where I really just drill down and cut out any remaining distractions that I have. And that's why, okay, yeah, music, like just be with myself, be in silence, like pray, meditate, read, and yeah, just work and do what I have to do. And apart from that, yeah, just sit in silence. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with just sitting in silence for a while. So yeah, anyway, addiction. Yeah, I'm gonna get this is gonna be the year where by the end of this year I'll be able to confidently say I have no addictions left. I have no vices left. I'll be able to say that. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to occasionally slip up and make mistakes. No, I'm human. I'll make mistakes same as anyone else. But in terms of repeated behaviors, addictions, like I'm not gonna have any addictions by the end of this year. I'm very lucky that I never got exposed to alcohol more than I did. I'm very lucky I never got exposed to any other substances, and just I'm very grateful that I've overcome porn addiction and everything else really that's been holding me back. And now it's like I'm finally able to move forward. Finally, I am moving forward. And I have been moving forward. I've made so many changes, but I really feel that I'm at the cusp of some even bigger changes. And I'm not going to lie, it's a bit disconcerting. It's a bit frightening. It is. Change can be difficult. Change can be frightening. And that's totally fine. It's totally fine. It's part of the process, part of the journey. So, yeah, anyway, I was grateful for that experience last week where had a good discussion with my friend. We didn't really go too deep into like theology or anything, but still interesting to come to learn about an Islamic perspective on some of these things. And I shared some, he was asking me about some of my own perspectives, the Christian perspective, and yeah, it's quite interesting. So yeah, but by the end of it, he actually asked me like, would it be okay to take him to church one day, not to like attend or participate or anything. No, 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 not that. I mean, he's interested just to like see what a church is like the actual building, and he's like basically invited me to go with him to the mosque as well. And yeah, I'd be interested to see a mosque. That would be quite interesting. Um, yeah, so sort of do that bit of that exchange really, where because he's asking what a church is like and all that. And yeah, I told him, I'll take you one day. Not when anything's going on. No, just to like show what it's like inside a church, one I go to. And yeah, he attends. He doesn't live here, of course. The countryside. He lives in the city, and yeah, yeah. He wants to take me to a local mosque as well, and I'm open to that as well. So yeah, it's just interesting where I'm at the moment. It's learning lots, continuing to grow day by day. But yeah, self improvement is pretty much dead. NoFap, the path I've been on. I'm just focused now. What am I meant to do? What have I been sent here to do? And just the next step, the next step. So, yes, that's really it. This video is a bit all over the place, but yeah, if I want to talk about addiction, I think alcohol is the worst addiction out there. It is. Like how much pain, misery, and suffering is caused because of this one substance. Like there's some bad ones as well. Like I mean, smoking has a lot of health issues as well. Smoking cigarettes, but I don't think smoking's anywhere near as bad as alcohol. Like, how many cases are there of people um, getting into like a rage and becoming violent because of smoking? Really, really doesn't happen. That really doesn't happen. Like, whereas alcohol, man, alcohol it does stuff to people, and it's interesting learning also the origin of of the term alcohol as well. Like this is not this is before I already knew it before I had that discussion last week, but alcohol, the word originally it comes from the Arabic term al-kul, and in some of these societies, especially around the Near East, even before the region was dominated by Islam, like there was many of the ancient societies there had strict rules on the consumption of alcohol. It was very much limited to very specific, ceremonies for religious purposes. Very much controlled by the priesthood. You can go back to there's many examples of that. But yeah, alcohol. The word stems from the Arabic al-kul. That's where it comes from, and alcohol, in its original term, roughly translates to body-eating spirit. Body-eating spirit. That really tells you everything about it, because like sometimes when you see people consume alcohol, it's like you sort of look at their eyes and see that vacancy. It's like as if they're not even there, as if something else is there. And it's like I'm not. It, it's it's crazy, scary stuff. Honestly, like look when you really go down that rabbit hole. But it's like, yeah, yeah. I've heard people say that when the alcohol, it's like it opens up a doorway, and it's like it opens you up to like spirits, right? And this is another interesting thing. Why do we call alcohol spirits? Why? Even today, our modern day, that original meaning has carried on where it's like alcohol is referred to as a spirit, body eating spirit, perhaps. It's like, man, mind is blown. Mind is blown. And it's like the amount of harm and destruction that alcohol causes in our society, it's like, why is it illegal? Why is it illegal? Like, there's so many substances and stuff out there that it's like they cause a lot of harm, right? But they're prohibited, they're illegal, right? Even though, of course, I know there's this movement in some jurisdictions to sort of decriminalize and legalize all substances, which I'm very much opposed to. Very, very much opposed to that. But it's like, out of all substances, I would say alcohol. It's clear to see alcohol causes the most harm, the most violence, it's the most destructive substance out there that we know. I would say that's not even a controversial statement. Okay, on a per person basis, okay, there are substances out there that perhaps you could say are deadlier than alcohol, for example, fentanyl, for instance. I mean, I've never ever seen anyone like you see those videos coming out, obviously places like in the US where you have like the fentanyl epidemic and all that going on. Here in Australia, of course, we have issues with substances as well, narcotics, but I'm not aware of any cases of like any like cases of like fentanyl, like not like what I see, overseas in some of these videos. It's crazy. That's so crazy. So okay, there is substances perhaps that are more deadly than alcohol on a individual level, but looking at like society as a whole, I think alcohol is by far the worst. It has caused the most harm, the most destruction, and it's like society would be much better off without it, really. And it's like you see all these other substances that are like controlled and prohibited in most countries across the world. I mean, really outside the Islamic world and a few other jurisdictions and countries that have restrictions or prohibitions on alcohol. It's like, why is it allowed? Why is it tolerated? And it's like, it's really as if those in power they'll allow us to keep it to because, well, okay, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. You can sort of read in between the lines, but it's crazy stuff. It really is. So I don't even know what I intended this video to be or where it's even going, but yeah, that's it for now. I think alcohol is by far the worst addiction, and yeah, I'm very glad to have come to this understanding now, and that I never really got sucked down that rabbit hole. Even though I have drank, I have consumed alcohol, it's like, yeah, where I'm at right now, I am never going to touch alcohol again in my life. No, sir, I'm not opening that door. I'm not opening that gateway. Not anymore. So, yeah, that's it. The way I'll end this off, I wanted to sort of end this on a positive note, but no, I'm actually going to have to end it on a bit of a not such a positive note, but yeah, man. The last thing I will say here is hell is a real place. You don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. And I really only know of one way to not end up there. And that way is through Jesus. Thank you.